Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be breaking down RG3's 40-yard dash. We're going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals.
You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video.
Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
All right, so we wanted to go and take a look at the fastest 40-yard dash ever, who actually was Michael Vick. He ran 4.33, and unfortunately there's no video of him, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at Robert Griffin III running a 4.38. He's the second fastest 40 of all time. There's a guesstimation that Lamar Jackson ran in like the 4.34 or something like that. But he never really ran didn't run in the combine, didn't have a pro day, so there's no real understanding of exactly how fast he is. But we do have Robert Griffin III. If this is the first time you're checking out these videos, what we do is provide breakdowns for athletes to be able to better understand how to be able to throw the ball further, how to be able to run faster, how to improve like lifting, stay healthy, jumping, things like that. So we're going to go ahead and start the video right now. So when we're looking at this here, what really stands out, and we're going to go into some of the basics of, the 40 start and the setup and some things that we, again, go over within these breakdowns. And hopefully, when you're watching this, what I want you to be able to do is understand how you can improve within your own mechanics, right? What you can do to, better utilize your body to be able to run faster. The big thing with the 40, right, so many people can improve their 40 just by understanding the steps and where you should be at different times as you're sprinting. So we can see here, RG3 does a great job. He has that heel really high up. He also has that foot pretty close to this line, right? He also has that back foot pretty close to the line. I think that really ends up being a big thing, is like that back foot doesn't want to be too far back. I see a lot of people that waste the opportunity of running faster because this foot is so far back. So then when they go to take this step ends up just not kicking up any ground, right? We want to be able to get this step to be, a little bit under a yard, right? It should definitely be past half of a yard, not necessarily at a yard. That could potentially overstriding depending on how tall you are, right? RG3 is 6'2", right? So just to give you guys an idea when you're watching this, how tall he is, because I just recently did a video about, how many steps you should be taking based off of your height when it comes to the 40. But we can see he does a great job driving those hips through, right? He gets those hips high. First action we talk about is dropping that front knee, rolling those hips through, right? Getting that knee up and then striking down with this heel nice and upwards, right? So what's important is when this foot's hitting the ground, okay, we got the 0.20, to be able to get off of the ground quickly. So how do we get off the ground quickly? It's by being able to really stick that landing, right? The better we can stick this landing, then the better we're going to be able to absorb and then get right back off the ground. Okay, he's off by, probably about 3.6, around 3.6. Okay, so that's a 0.16 foot contact time. That's excellent. Okay, so then we're here. This one's going to be a little bit. This one wasn't a very good step for him. He landed a little bit further back when he did this one. This one thing keeps on kind of stopping on me here. But yeah, so he lands at 0.46, and you can see, he didn't get the leg up and through and then get the heel back down as well. We're typically going to land with the heel a little bit lower in general with this, but we definitely don't want to be stuck super flat-footed, and he probably ends up taking about the same amount of time, on that one, about 0.16, right? Because at 6.0, it still looks like he's on the ground, or sorry, 5.6, it looks like he's still on the ground. Even 6.0, it seems like he's still on the ground. Right there is really when he comes off. So somewhere between 6.0 and 6.3, 0.15, 0.16, okay? And now, we'll go into the fourth step. So what's important about the fourth step is we want that to be at 5 yards, right? For the vast majority of you, if you're under 5'10", right, then you probably don't need to necessarily be, at that spot, right? You don't need to be able to get 5 yards in 4 steps, but for sure, if you're over 5'10", you should be able to get the 5 yards within 4 steps, and if not, more, right? If you're in the 6'2", 6'3" range, potentially getting even, a little bit more than 5 yards, and I would even say he's probably a little bit past that 5-yard mark, is important when it comes to, running a fast time. If you go back and you look at Tom Brady running the 40, right, like I would say today he probably runs a faster 40. I mean, I don't know because he's 40 years old, but definitely when he was in, his later 20s, right, early 30s, when he was in good shape, I can almost guarantee you he was able to run a faster 40 because he probably had a lot better running fundamentals, right? When he ran that 40, it's a kind of a bad representation of his overall skill set, right? He's definitely cleaned up his mechanics. He's definitely cleaned up his running style. And so he's probably able to run a lot more clean, and that will help you in being able to run the 40. So if you're an athlete thinking, oh yeah, I ran what Tom Brady ran in the 40, or Tom Brady didn't run a great 40, that means, I can get away with more. At that time, the science wasn't near as good. Today, if you run that type of 40, it really shows a lack of athleticism, right? Back then, it wasn't as important because there wasn't as many people really teaching speed and teaching mechanics and helping you in develop your sprinting. Now, there's a lot more information out there. There's a lot more people that are teaching you. There's people that can get information like me. Like, I can teach you how to run a faster 40 from anywhere in the world, and I don't think I'm the only person that could do that, right? So you have the resources, you have the ability. Now it's just about being able to apply yourself. So it doesn't look good if you're running Tom Brady, I forgot what he ran, like 5.4 or something like that, 5.5. If you run that slow, it almost is just showing that you really don't have a lot of effort in your overall sports performance, right? Again, at that time, this was like, when he came into the league, this is like the 90s. It's not nearly, or early 2000s. Wasn't nearly as popular to be, looking deep into sprinting mechanics at that time. Okay, so back to this. So this is 7 yards. He does 7 steps and 10 yards. Excellent job of being able to do that. This one's 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So he gets past 12, 20 yards and 12 steps, which is an excellent place to be able to be at. Okay, that's really like the goal, right? To be able to get to 12 steps in 20 yards and still be in, like a 2.65 to 2.7 range. I would say he's probably even potentially doing better than that, but he's probably in somewhere around there. Like Calvin Johnson, he ran 4.35. They had him at like 2.63 at 20. Okay, so somewhere between 2.60 and 2.70 is probably where he's at. And they said that he ran upwards of 24 miles an hour. Let me just type that in here real quick just to see the time. I have a little calculator that could show me. It was 24, I think, 0.1 for 20 yards. It's probably hard for him to hold that, but that would be 1.7. Okay, so, he ran 4.38. So, just based off of those numbers, he's probably at about 6.8. Okay, then if he runs 1.7, that's going to be 4.38. Okay, so that's probably around where he's at. Again, I don't know if he necessarily held that 24 miles an hour for 20 yards. So, he's probably didn't do 1.7 exactly. He's probably closer to 1.73, 1.74, right? Somewhere in there. But, what we did is we took a look at this. So let's just say for this, he's running 1.8. Okay, so if he's running 1.8, what that means is, and we'll go a little bit further in, what that means is that his leg cycles need to be at 0.45. Right? And so, because we can basically divide that by 2, and we're saying the 0.9, or we want to divide that by 4. Sorry, it wants to be, maybe a little bit closer. No, 4.5 should be good. Maybe closer to maybe 4.2, just depending on the height, how much distance he's covering. But let's say, so he's landing here. I'll go over what I'm talking about here. So the cycle is the point that he lands. Okay, so he's landing in the ground here, 0.53. All these times have to do with this timestamp on the bottom. Okay, 0.53, he's off the ground, and I already looked at this before, by, 0.63, maybe even potentially slower, or, faster, but, like at this time, the frame rates weren't near as precise as they are today. It makes me feel old looking at RG3, and this is the video was made 10 years ago when I got this, and I was just like, oh my gosh, freaking RG3 10 years ago. It doesn't seem like it was that long, but I guess it was. Right, so anyway, we'll go into the hit gets back down at 9.7. So yeah, he's at 0.44. Okay, in terms of from when the foot hits the ground, okay, and he's off at, about 0.1, probably 0.09, somewhere in there. So we want to be able to establish how much time you're spending on the ground, okay, and then how fast is the cycle. So his cycle is 0.34. Okay, or 0.35, somewhere in there, okay? Because this could be 0.95, right? This could be, 0.345, something like that, because I don't really go too much to the thousands, because it just, like, especially with this video, it's hard to be able to see precisely. But, you know, on average, he's about 0.9 and then probably about 0.35 in terms of leg cycle, 0.09, sorry, and then 0.35 in leg cycle. So, you know, he needs to be under 0.45 in order for, you know, the numbers to be able to make sense. And that's with him being able to pick up 5 yards in 4 steps, which he actually ended up going a little bit past that, right? Because he hit here. He's probably a little bit past the 30-yard mark there, and so he hit right about the same spot. So he's picking up about 2.5 yards per step, okay, or every 2 steps, you know, 5 yards, okay, every leg cycle, and that's good, right? That's around where you want to be. Again, if you're taller, he's only 6'2", so if you're getting closer into 6'4", 6'5", that number wants to be even, you know, more. So you want to be picking up to closer to 2.7 yards for each one of your steps. So, you know, once you can start to get into the numbers and start to understand it, now that gives us a lot more clarity of what it is that you need to work on. Okay, and that ends up being really what I am big on in preaching is let's get a fundamental understanding of how can you get faster, right? How can you run a better 40? If you're watching this video, you're saying I want to be able to understand how to run a better 40. Well, it starts with understanding where do you need to improve the most. Okay, so if you already are pretty good in top speed, a lot of people are actually good in top speed, and really, you know, there's not a lot of improvement you could be making within that area. Okay, because if you, let's say you run that 20 yards, right? We talked about him, you know, run 1.7 because he's running 24 miles an hour. If we take that time and we just go by another 0.1, right? We add another 0.1 to it. So instead of 0.7, he's at 1.8. Now that's 22.7. Right, so from 24 miles an hour to 22.7 by just taking off 1/10 of a second, okay? Which, that's fast, right? A second, right? It's not a tenth of a second. A whole second, right? 1/10 of the entire second. It's it's almost a 2 mile an hour difference, a little bit over 1 mile an hour difference. That's a lot of improvement that has to be made. If you're running 22 miles an hour, which I'm you know, pretty confident there's not very many people that are doing that are watching this video, but if you are running 22, to get from 22 to 24, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to make it so you have to really dedicate a lot of yourself to being able to achieve that. And the point is, now if we go to your 10, okay, and a lot of people have not great starts. Let's say you have a 1.8 in the start. Well, that would be terrible. We could say 1.17. Let's say 1.7. 1.7 is a little bit more understandable, right? So if you're running 1.7, okay, if we get you down to 1.55, and I've done that with a lot of guys, got from 1.7 to 1.55, that's going from 12.8 miles an hour to 13.2, right? Not even a whole mile an hour. That is definitely an achievable thing, right? And it just takes a consistency, right? It's over 10 yards of consistency of running 13. So from 0 to 10, you might get upwards of like 14, 15, right? Because you're starting from 0 miles an hour and going 10 yards, right? So you're going to be averaging 13.2 that whole time. So as you get to 10, you're probably at 14, 15. In comparison, if you're here, you're closer to 13. Okay, and so what is it that you are doing to accelerate, right? Maybe 13.5. Okay, it's your ability to accelerate. It's the where you're landing, your heel position, your foot position. All those things really make a big difference in being able to improve, you know, your first 10 or going from 10 to 20, right? Same type of thing. You can make big improvements within these parts of your sprinting by just understanding where are the biggest gaps, right? Where can I make the most amount of improvement? Okay, so there's a lot of guys, again, that are high school level that are running, you know, 4.7, 4.8, and even for high school level, that's a pretty good time. There's a lot of people that are, you know, in the 5s in high school, right? I'd say the vast majority of high school athletes, as much as they want to say they're running 4.5, 4.6, whatever, they're not, right? They're running in the 5s, and it's because, not because they lack speed, it's because they lack the understanding of the step count, the time on the ground, how to accelerate, how to get from your start phase to your drive phase, from drive phase to the top end speed phase, how many steps they should be taking per 10 yards, right? So that last 10, you know, being able to optimize that, make it so you have the right step count there. These are all critical things in being able to get yourself to run a faster 40. And if you don't understand it, then you're not going to be able to accomplish it, right? Knowledge is power, and that's why I want to be able to give you this knowledge, right? It's a free YouTube video. You're getting this knowledge for free. The issue is applying yourself and actually making that, you know, make it so you can make the improvements and make that improvement a reality. And so that's what we do within the Faster 40 program. We help you guys in understanding that you are able to improve, right? And by looking in the fundamentals, by looking into the logistics of your body position and your step counts and the numbers, and giving you drills, giving you exercises, trying to help you provide the best way that we can the solutions, right? There's part of it where it's like, look, you got to practice, right? You've got to practice your 10. You've got to practice your 20. As much as I want to, I want to be able to give you the solution, right? The correct thing. And if there is a, ankle drill or range of motion, hip flexor, hamstring, something that I can give you to help, I will 100% give it to you. But a lot of times what it is like, we got to practice it, right? We got to be able to work on it, okay? And we got to work on the timing. We got to work on the arms, see the difference between an RG3 or a, Tavon Austin or, any of these guys that are great at accelerating. Look at where their arm is. Look at where their body position is. Look at where their spine is. Look at where they're landing, how they're landing with their foot. Look at where their hip is compared to their foot. When you start to really be able to break it all down, you can start to see the differences, and then all you have to do is start to mimic that. Right? A lot of times it's not that difficult. You just have to be able to see the difference. And then once you see the difference, you can make the change. So, yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and stop rambling off of that. If you're interested in getting more information, though, check out that Faster 40 program. There's a lot of great things that we're going to be able to do to help you out. It's just a 4-week thing. If you want to continue with it, obviously you can, but we want to be able to give you 4 weeks, help you improve your 40 within that time, and then continually to progress here in, the off season. So hopefully by, the time you get to camp, you're able to run, significantly better than you are today. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that type of good stuff. We'll talk to you soon.